Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or I guess afternoon or good morning, whenever you're watching this. This is Moonlight. I'm here with the draft analysis for the ASL Season 9. Now, a quick update on where I've been. I just haven't really been feeling YouTube recently. I'm starting to get back into it now. I feel like this league is a good league to sort of get back into the motions. I will have playoff videos. I'll have playoff videos ready for spoilers. GDF and PWC within the coming weeks, and I'll try to get those out before the end of June. I can't promise anything, but I'll try my hardest. And this league I will be doing my best to upload regularly for this league because I really do enjoy this league, and I really enjoy the people in this league, especially the commissioner and some of my closest friends in Draft League are in this league, so I like it. So a bit of a breakdown on the ASL is this I guess the really only real word to use this to describe this league is quirky, because they have a lot of things that most normal leagues don't do. They allow some Ubers like Cinderace with Libero, Kieran Black with no D-Dance, Landorus Incarnate without Sheer Force, although to be fair, Lando I with Sand Force is fairly reasonable to have. They have Mew, they have Melmetal, which most leagues have. They banned Dracovish for some reason, but that's besides the point. Anyways, it's a bit quirky, and the quirkiest thing they have this season is, they have Oko moves allowed, so that's fun. B, D and E tier Mons in this league can Dynamax. So that's a big threat to deal with. And the last thing is that every other round of the draft, the order is randomized. So the first round will be as it is, and the second round will just be the snake version, the reverse version of the first round. So it's a snake draft for the first two rounds. And then round 3, they reshuffle the order, snake round again. Round 5, it's really weird how they managed to do round 5, but round 6, round 8, and then round 10, they also randomize. It's weird. So, that means that if you get first overall pick, because this is a 24-man draft, you have to wait 46 picks till you can pick again, and you don't get the wheel pick. So in other words, first overall pick, you're kind of screwed. So, and that's the position I found myself in. So I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get Dragapult. Best mon in Draft League by a long shot. What else am I really going to do? So, this thing needs no introduction. It's Ghost Dragon, one of the best mons in draft format. Without Urshifu Single Strike, it is the best mon in draft format, I think. It's up there with Mew, and in this case, Kieran Black, because, man, that thing hits hard. But anyways, you can run it special, you can run it sub-hex, D-Dance, whatever. It's got a lot of different sets that you can run, and it's just really annoying to deal with. Next up, we got Nidoking. And I do think I should point out the nickname theme for this, and that is just going to be my 10 favorite anime, because this is a 10-mon draft. Since there are 24 coaches, so that's 240 mons total will be drafted in Galar decks. So, yeah. Anyways, picked up Nidoking, named after my favorite anime, Code Geass. Highly recommend if you haven't watched. And Nidoking is good. It doesn't really work well with the speed tier of Dragapult. I think Dragapult's 142. Yeah, it's 142 because Zero Aura is 143. Given that Nidoking is... Anyways, Nidoking is base 85, so it doesn't really pair well with Dragapult in that sense, but offensively, I think they have really good synergy. Because what comes in on Dragapult? Normal types and fairy types. Nidoking breaks through both of those, because A, Nidoking is a poison type, no fairy type wants to stay in on a poison type, except for maybe Klefki, but this thing gets Earth Power and Earthquake. And normal types, this thing gets Superpower, in case you didn't realize. So Superpower or maybe Focus Blast. This thing just hits hard. And nothing really can take on both of them at once. Um, so, this thing, really nice. Gives me really good offensive pressure with Sheer Force Life Orb. If you ask me, the Nidos are the best Sheer Force Mons in the format, and they're the best Life Orb using Mons in the format because of Sheer Force. Yeah, this thing also gets me Toxic Spikes, and it gives me a Grounded Poison, which is just phenomenal. Like, who does not want a Grounded Poison? Bit of a warning, I don't think this is in order. Is it? No. Yes, actually, it is in order. It is in order of which I picked. Next up, we have Swampert. I think it is. If not, this and Colossal are swapped. I don't know. I think it's just this and Colossal are swapped. I think that's it. But Swampert pairs really well, I think, with the other two. Now, really, with this draft, I wasn't going too much off of synergy. I really just wanted to draft mons that I really wanted to draft. That's all I can really say about this draft. But Swampert, bulky water ground type. I originally wanted Quagsire for this position, but it got sniped like 3 picks before mine. So that was really annoying. But, Swampert, bulky, it got flip turned this generation, so it now gives me pivot momentum along with Dragapult. It hits hard with its dual stab. It's got a nice 110 attack stat, really bulky across the board. It can be run physical or especially defensive. And same with offensive. If I wanted to run this thing offensive, I definitely could. Because, not a lot wants to switch into water plus ground. And this thing gets ice coverage for those pesky grass types. So, really, it's just good overall. Stealth Rock's fat. What more can I really say about this thing? Next, we got my first D tier. We got Colossal, the main man. This thing is, I'm looking forward to using it because A, it can Gigantamax because D-Max and G-Max are allowed for D and E tier mons that are not legendaries. So, I can G-Max up with this thing and just nuke something if I wanted to. But more likely, I'm going to be running this thing defensively because, sure, rock fighting is not a great typing. It really isn't. But you know what? This thing has a niche. This thing is bulky. That's what this thing's niche is. 110 HP, 120 defense, 90 spadef. I could run this thing bulky or with Focus Sash to get up spikes and then go boom. And that's all that really needs to go with this thing. If I want to run this thing offensively, I can with does this thing get Endure? Endure. Endure Weakness Policy Steam Engine. I could run that if I wanted to on this thing and just slam through a team if need be. This thing is just this thing it's very one-dimensional, but if I want to run it offensively, I can. And I might. No promises. Next we have Thwacky. This draft is sort of all over the place, and I apologize. And really, it's late at night when I'm recording this. I really don't care. So, Thwacky, it's just a mini Rillaboom that's really, really bulky. That's all there is to say. This thing is stupid bulky with Eviolite. Not stupid bulky in a P2 sense, because P2 gets actual good recovery outside of, Grassy Terrain and Leech Seed. But this thing is good for ground types, because if you hadn't noticed, my first 2 picks and my next pick are weak to ground. So, this plus Swampert, really good for dealing with ground types. Because one of my good friends, Nick at Nader, shout out to you, man, he drafted a sand team. So, this is going to be good for that, I think. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know. But, 85 base attack, you get up a Swords Dance with this thing, it hits hard. Plus, it can D-Max. So, if I wanted to, I could run this thing Swords Dance with Acrobatics, and just click SD, and then Dynamax up, and then just nuke stuff and potentially sweep this thing because what are you going to switch into a +2 Grassy Glide or a +2 Max Airstream? Not a lot wants to switch into either of that to that combination of attacks. Plus this thing gets fighting coverage to deal with steel types, so yeah, no, this thing is going to be nice. I'm looking forward to it. My man Psy Guy used it last season. It was phenomenal for him. I'm looking forward to using it. Next, we've got Reggie Steel. Reggie Steel. What else to say? Fourth Stealth Rockmon on this team. Super bulky overall. Like this thing is fat. He a chunky boy. Not great. Not very good as far as reliable recovery goes on this team. I will say that much. But he's a chunky boy. Stealth Rocks, Heavy Slam, Body Press, Toxic, Thunder Wave, Iron Defense, really anything. This thing has a lot of potential stats it could run. I know I saw a video recently, somebody ran this thing like offensive in a draft league. He ran offensive in a draft league Wi-Fi playoff game. And that was just like stupid and so funny to watch. So I might do that if playoff time comes around and I'm clinched or something else happens. But anyways, I've used Reggie Steel I think twice before and I've enjoyed using it. I'm looking forward to using it again. It's super bulky, super nice. Rest sleep talk. It's annoying and it's great. It's so much fun to use. I like it. Next up, we have got fourth best normal type behind Licky Licky and both of the Porygons, those being P2 and PZ. What can I say about Kangaskhan? I mean, first off, it can Dynamax. Yay. Second of all, it gives me a Spectrier counter, because that thing was drafted, and I'm pretty sure was dropped when the coach dropped out, and the replacement dropped it. But that's alright, somebody's probably going to pick it up at some point. And it gives me a bulky normal type. I mean, a normal type as a whole is just really good to have. A bulky normal type is really nice to deal with ghost types, because ghost types are really annoying in draft. I don't know what to say about Kangaskhan. It goes undervalued in draft. It was probably the best E tier mon along with Thwacky in the entire draft. I don't know why it was E tier, why it was 4 points. That doesn't make much sense to me. But here we are. It's bulky, first of all. 105 HP, 80 in both defenses. It can hit hard with that base 95 speed, and base 95 attack, and that base 90 speed. I am everywhere tonight. It gets Wish Protect to be annoying. It can be run offensively, if I wanted to run it offensively with like Fake Out Last Resort. It's a normal type, so it's got coverage up the wazoo. Actually, it's a Gen 1 normal type, so it's got coverage up the wazoo. Like, not much else to say about it. Not really much else to say about it. Next, we have Pangoro, my Dark and Fighting type mon on this team. So, not speed tiers on this team, not looking great. We've got Dragapult at 142, and then we got Kang at 90. This thing comes in at 58 speed, so as far as dark types and fighting types I've drafted goes, not the fastest. Really not the fastest for either. But you know what? This thing hits stupid hard. 124 attack with 3 really good abilities in Mold Breaker, Iron Fist, and Scrappy. This thing just hits stupid hard. Oh, and Scrappy makes it immune to Intimidate now. So if I want to run this thing with Scrappy to avoid being intimidated by, say, like a Land or a Therian, I can do that, and that allows me to just click Ice Punch and kill a Lando T if he's not Yachi. But I think this thing might kill through Yachi if this thing is Choice Band. Anyways, this thing hits stupid hard. Dark Fighting is a really good offensive combination, and this thing gets steel coverage in the form of Bullet Punch, and it gets poison coverage in the form of Poison Jab and Gunk Shot, so doesn't really need to worry about fairy types too much, which is really the only thing you want to be switching into this thing's dual coverage, outside of like a Hippowdon, but Hippowdon's stupid bulky. I don't know why it's stupid bulky, it just is. So, yeah, that's Pangoro. And next, this next pick got me a lot of flack in the league, and that is Alolan Raichu. I don't understand why this thing is giving me flack. People are like, oh, it's not good without electric terrain. You got a Surge Surf Mon without electric terrain on your draft. Man, I don't care. Look at this thing's stats. Electric Psychic, 2 of the best offensive types in draft, and 2 of the best, and probably the 2 best specially offensive types in draft on a Pokemon with 95 base special attack and base 110 speed. This thing is fast. This thing hits hard. It gets Psyshock, Psychic, Thunderbolt, Rising Voltage, Volt Switch, Focus Blast, Surf, Grass Knot, Knock Off, Extreme Speed, Fake Out. This thing can be run physical, for God's sake. And additionally, this thing gets Nasty Plot. This thing gets Wish. This thing is so good. This thing looks so good. I don't understand why people don't understand how good this thing could be. It's literally just Cantonian Raichu, which is used a fair amount in Draft League. It's literally that, but with Psychic type. Like, what is there not to love about this thing? It's adorable as well. You can't tell me this thing isn't adorable. I don't know. I'm looking forward to using it. I'm looking forward to proving all the haters wrong. And finally, last month up, we got Togetic. I had 6 points left in the draft. The fairy type I wanted, Comfey, was taken round 3 by Psyguy. I don't know why either. It's just Psyguy. And he still managed to draft a busted team because he's Psyguy. Anyways, this thing is bulky with Eviolite. I'll give it that. HP is not fantastic, 55, but the rest of his stats are good outside of attack and speed, but you don't want to run this thing offensive, really. But this thing gets Baton Pass, it gets Thunder Wave, Dazzling Gleam, Roost. It's a bit too passive as far as fairy types go for my liking. Like, the last passive fairy type I used was Florges in, what was that league? IDA. Yeah, IDA Season 1 back in 2019, right before Sword and Shield dropped. So, it's a little, Togetic, it's a little too passive for my taste, but I want to try this thing out, because I'll probably never try it out again. We'll see how I feel about it. But my friend Nick and Nader, he said it's a good mod. Nick's standards for mons are different from mine because we have two completely different play styles. Man's is weird, is what I'm trying to get at when it comes to mons, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Because he has shown in the past that he can be very successful with a really odd team. But, anyways, this is the squad for this season. And if you are wondering, and in case you didn't catch on, my top 10 favorite anime in no particular order: My Hero Academia, Code Geass, highly recommend. Hunter x Hunter, Attack on Titan, Mob Psycho, Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, Naruto. And this is for both Naruto and Naruto Shippuden because I think they're on the same level. If we're talking about War Arc Naruto Shippuden, then War Arc Naruto and the Pain Arc, if you just have that, Naruto Shippuden is better than Naruto. If you take into account the whole fact that the War Arc is really, really unnecessarily long, and there's way too much filler in Shippuden, then normal Naruto gets put to the top because, let's be real here, the nice thing about regular Naruto that Naruto Shippuden doesn't have is that regular Naruto, you got the first 100 episodes, is perfectly fine, no filler, and then the second half of Naruto is all filler. Meanwhile, Shippuden, you've got filler every other arc, so you have no idea what is and isn't filler. That's just my 2 cents. But anyways, enough of me rambling about Naruto versus Naruto Shippuden. I'm gonna sign off now, and this video should be coming out on Memorial Day, so hopefully I'll have week 1 out today. If not, I'll try to get it out by Tuesday. So, on that note, have a great day. Peace.